My people, my supernatural people, supernatural people. Hollywood Studios, Supernaturals, Motion Pictures. Trenton makes the world takes grind. It's that Hollywood Studios, Supernaturals, Motion Picture. Trenton makes the world takes grind. Obviously, I'm from the place Trenton makes the world takes. And this time of year, the summertime, it's always camps going on. And I come from a supernatural family of true beautiful ballers. I come from a supernatural family of true beautiful, world-renowned ballers. And we all been doing camps and reinvesting in the next generations, but we've been doing them separate. But I decided that it's time to unify all camps. To unify every single one of the camps that we've ever touched. To unify and put a return on investment on every single true beautiful baller that has ever come in contact with one of our Trenton makes the world takes grind camps. See, we got a bridge where we from. Our city is so supernatural. Our inheritance and our estate, being the New Jerusalem, is so supernaturally, spiritually prophetic that we built the bridge. We built the bridge to tell the world. And we built a war memorial to go with our bridge. To remind everybody who want to claim, everybody want to try and tell a story about who's indigenous or what's indigenous. Come to the New Jerusalem, the dazzling white city, the dazzling white brick city. You know, the New Jerusalem's walls, the New Jerusalem's walls are made with dazzling white, translucent bricks. The gold is so pure that you can see through the bricks. It's like glass. That word is called translucent. Dazzling white city. Also in Trenton, on the south side of Trenton, notice that's where the Queens of Sheba are located, always historically. All throughout time. The kings run parallel. The kings are referred to as the greatest of the kings of the East. And our pride lands for the kings run parallel. Because it's our job to lay down and be the foundation and lift. The greatest of the kings, our heads lie in the east. Our God headquarters lie in the east. The world is our bench where we press. The supernatural womb that will bring forth our seed. We press, rep after rep, set after set. Our head lies in the east. If you need to know where New Jerusalem is, Trenton, New Jersey, it's in the east. The sun rises in the east. You cannot be first if you're not in the east. You're not even in the running for the Son of God. Stop playing with me. You're not even in the running in the sons and daughters of God. You're out of order. Sun rises in the east. That's why the word always refers to the greatest of the kings of the east. God created the original Jerusalem, the original Garden of Eden, the original brick city in the east. So we come from New Jerusalem. Understand, I'm talking to you as a supernatural. All of these Europeans and all of these other people, they talk about native and indigenous. Listen, they talk about that which they know that they can rule over. They never speak our name. They never reference us. They always talk to their inferior offspring. They only speak about, listen, they have never spoken your name. They have never referred to you. They won't dare. They won't dare say our name. They won't dare. They're scavengers. When have you ever seen a rat run up on a lion? Come on, y'all. And my mom told me always to look up to the archetype. My mom and my father. In that order. In that order. You're out of order, fathers, if you think you leading this family to success. You're out of order. You're supernaturally out of order. The mother is given a God-given divine head start. 9 months. 9 months, the child in the womb connected to an umbilical cord. You have never been connected through an umbilical cord to a child, Father. You can never catch up. Y'all play yourselves when y'all talk about you, the head of the family. You spiritually and divinely out of order. Unnatural. There's no way in the world a man could be a head of the household and a head of the family. There's no way. The Most High God said, in the womb, I knew. David said, in the womb, you knew me and formed me and called me to be a prophet. He gave the mother a head start. You playing yourself. You let Europeans teach you their family motto. And that's why, listen, when you play down to your competition, this is why we do camps. My mother, Beverly Webb, was the ultimate cheerleader. And she did not put me and my sister Terry Lynn Leggett in school. She taught us ourselves so that she could teach us like Moses was taught. Then when Moses was introduced to the world, he was already a king. He was the foreshadow of the Messiah, Jesus Christ. She introduced him to the world at 12, and he confounded the fake wise men of Egypt. He confounded. Listen, same thing happened with Mary. Listen, at 12, she took Jesus down to the same spot and taught him in the same spot that Moses was taught. She went down into Egypt for 12 years, and then when she came back, he was head and shoulders above all of the wise men at 12. It's the same school that my mom gave me and my sister Terry. My mom found out that there was a school down in the South called Oakwood University. Remember where the queens of the, remember, if the kings are from, if the king's direction on the map is east to west, you're giving birth to in the east. The honeymoon, the sun sets on the honeymoon in the west. Be fruitful and multiply. You can't multiply without finishing the deal. The sun rises in the east means grow. A seed grows, and then before the sun sets on that seed is supposed to be fruitful and multiply. Wedding feast, honeymoon, sun sets on the honeymoon in the west. Then what do you have? A lion's den. You got the Pride Rock in the east where the sun rises. You got the lion's den where the lioness gives birth to the seed that was planted at the wedding feast and the honeymoon, sunset. Do it all over again. Sun rises after honeymoon morning. Bright and morning star, the sun rises. And you do it all over again. Year after year, year after year. Fruitful and multiply. Sun rises. Sunrise in the east. You lay on your back and you lift your east to west, east to west. Pride Rock, honeymoon, lion's den. East to west, over and over, over and over. If I be lifted up, I will supernaturally draw all men. Men, when you lift yourself up, you ain't going nowhere. They told you greatest love of all is to love yourself. You out of order. The European has created a book, taken a Bible, and revised. This is why they say revisions. King James Version, New International Version. They have revised the word of God, homie. And they've given you the European perspective. And they've damned you with the European perspective. Change your damn perspective. They've damned you with their revision. And they taught you their order. He said, present yourself as a living sacrifice. They say, love yourself. He said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men. They said, lift yourself up. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. They have inverted. That's called unnatural. So they're supernatural. What we do, Trenton makes the world take supernatural grind. Trenton makes the world take the world. And every time we run up on these unnatural individuals, we crush them and we build the bridge for the whole world to follow us. And then we put up a war memorial to let you know, here is where we crush the unnatural. We build the Trenton Makes Bridge for anybody who wants supernatural to cross from unnatural back to supernatural. And then we build the war memorial building on the banks where every Trenton Makes Bridge that we build all over the world. Why a war memorial? Because on the bank of a river, you need a lighthouse. They try and take you to the unnatural darkness. Word said, what's done in the dark shall be brought to the light. So after we build the bridge, then we build the war memorial building to let you know we crushed them here. Our ancestors been doing this ever since the prophet Elijah. Ever since the prophet Elijah. Ever since King David. There's a text in the word that says, here I raise my Ebenezer. The prophet Samuel who anointed King David to be king. After the 10 tribes rebelled against David and said, we have no part in you. We rebel against you. We rebel against God. We rebel against the covenant. Samuel said, I'm coming to get my people. You fake nobles and you fake prophets and priests. You can rebel against God, but I'm coming to get my people in the streets of them 10 tribes. And I'm going to come and wage war against you priests and you prophets and you king in the north. Y'all better know that means for all of y'all governors and y'all senators and y'all mayors and y'all presidents. You can rebel against the Most High God, but what you can't do is come into them highways and the byways, because Trenton makes the world takes supernatural grind. You come into Trenton with that garbage, and I'm going to give you what Bev Webb told me to give you. I'm going to give you what Frank Leggett taught me to give you. I'm going to give you what Aura, Lillian, Mason taught me to give you. I'm going to give you what Frank E. Leggett Jr. taught me to give you. My Elijah Rock and my Ebenezer. You got to have 2 witnesses, family. And if you check my pedigree and my resume in Trenton, New Jersey, we got razor sharp, Barbarian beauty. Image is everything, homie. Image is everything. And you got Masons, Barber and beauty. You got to have 2 witnesses. You got to have 2 witnesses. If you don't, listen, you could come out and play the first half. If you don't show up in the second half, what happened? You take an L. You got to have 2 witnesses. I don't care how many points you put up in the first half. If you come out and you don't do nothing in the second half and they putting up all of the points, you lose. And it's only one love. It's a half for the man, the east to the west. You got to lay down your life, men, in the first half. The second half is for the queens. You got a first fruit blessing for the male. The first and last Adam, the alpha. Y'all want Greek fraternities? Y'all like Greek fraternities? Can't nothing top the Alpha and Omega. Can't nothing top the Alpha and Omega. Y'all don't even know what the Alpha and Omega is. The Alpha is the first fruits, but he said, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. The greatest blessing he gave was to the last person that he created, the queen. That's why in the womb he goes and he inserts the child in the womb and connects an umbilical cord to the mind. Listen, gives her a 9-month head start in training. If you're gonna make the supernatural team, you better be trained. Show up to the trials with no training. You're gonna get cut. So he gave you a 9-month head start in the womb, connected to the ultimate huddle. That's the supernatural huddle, y'all. This is called Have Life Coaching. For all of y'all that don't know, this is called Have Life Coaching. I came that you might have life and have it abundantly. Have Life Coaching. This is what they stole from you. This is what the European world stole from you. When he said knowledge will increase, this is what he stole from you. The foundation of the family unit, the foundation of procreation. This is what they stole from you. This is why they kill you dead in the street, because you don't know nothing about the family that you come through. You call yourself black. Listen, there's no such thing as black, homie. The creator called you something when he created you. The creator, listen, Crayola created the color black and white. Crayola, the crown company. Crayola created an artificial coloring system. God used the nature that he created to define skin and skin color that was acceptable and unacceptable, supernatural and unnatural. Can an Ethiopian change his skin? The darkest Kushite Nubian on the face of the planet that everybody knew. When you open up a Crayola crayon box and you look at the black crayon, you know that that color is black by sight. Everybody in the world knew. When they saw the skin color of an Ethiopian, they knew what that color is. And that ain't brown. There's no question about what the skin color. And then in the same text, he said, can a leopard change its spot? There's no question about what color the spot is on a leopard, right? So in one line in the word of God, God defined the skin color of the original people that he created. And you run around here calling yourself black. And then wonder why they kill you dead. Whenever they give you a slave brand name, they could do what they want with their slaves that had been branded. As long as you identify with the brand, you dead. I don't care how much you protest. I don't care how much you get mad. I don't care how much you march. I don't care how much you rally. Once you accept the slave brand name, you have been broken. You've seen Roots. That's why they play it every year. Kunta Kinte, they telling you, yo, the moment that he accepted the name, he was broken. And every time he answers to the name, listen, you answer to the name they gave you. They show you the movie and you still do it. And then you go and you try and protest in their system. You don't have no rights in the slave master system. And once you get broken and you accept, listen. So let me give it to y'all supernaturally. Take a horse. They want to break a horse. How do you know that the horse has been broken? If he stays in the cage. What's the difference between a broken horse and a free horse? The free horse will go back to being free. Come on, y'all. It's not even rocket science, yo. My brother Larry Paul gave birth to Bryce Paul. He about to be one. Every day, we created this channel so that there could be no question in Bryce Paul's life, in King Paul's life. See, they want to tell you that there's a reset going on. There's a new era, a new order that they're putting in place. This is what the world is telling you. We're hitting reset. There is a new order. Anytime they say new, that's unnatural. Anytime they try and tell you, he told you Rome was going to burn. He told you Babylon was going to fall. So when the Most High God is causing Babylon to fall for the wickedness that they have done, just like Rome did, they always have to pay. They have to go extinct. And you going to allow them to hit a reset? They tell you that they the phoenix. They're going to rise from the ashes. So God is bringing down the wickedness on their heads, And because our people have accepted the slave brand names and you identify with being Babylon, now they saying we're going to defy God and we're going to create a new world order, a new unnatural world order. And I'm here to tell you, in the hearing in the presence of King Paul, who's not even 1 year old, there's nothing new under the sun. They don't get to reset. And if you know who you are, and he will know who he is, we are God's sons. And there is enmity between God's sons and the serpent seed. And when you walk these streets and you talk about we all are God's sons, no, we not. The Most High God said, I will put enmity. He told the first parents, I will put enmity. That is a total separation as far as the east is from the west. I will put enmity between your seed and the serpent seed. And he said, I will always have that enmity every day, every minute, every moment, as far as the east is from the west. That is supernatural. And the serpent seed is unnatural. And there is a divide as far as the east is from the west between the unnatural and the supernatural. And my king, King Paul, will know every day of his life there's nothing new under the sun. Ain't no reset. The same world I was brought up in, he gonna be brought up in. The same way we moved, to King Paul. The same thing his grandmother gave me. Listen, wherever she took me to, we gonna take him to. Unnatural vaccinations. Listen, yo, there's nothing new under the sun. When your unnatural judgment day is supposed to come, the wages of sin is death. But the gift of God is eternal life. Huh? The wages of sin is death. So he done said, I have put enmity between your seed and the serpent seed. So there is one seed on earth that's getting death. And there are other kings and rulers. You have dominion. Be fruitful and multiply. Replenish the earth and subdue. You have dominion. Not they have dominion. Not everybody has dominion. You have dominion. You who? My faithful servants. What's how you to be defined as faithful servants? Your servitude. Present yourself as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable. Any questions? Am I this keeper of your brother? To a 1 year old. Your brother and blood, you individuals crazy your I will require an accounting for drop of blood. Genesis chapter 9. I will require an accounting for every drop of blood. You can't even beat your brother up and bloody his nose. What? You can't eat. Listen, this is why we created hip hop. This is why supernaturals and the Europeans come in and create record studios and let them magazine create West beef. The European who created the whole G-Unit fashion label, his own complex magazine right now. The same individuals. They wasn't on the blocks of Trenton, New Jersey. They wasn't on the blocks in 1974. They wasn't on the blocks in 1968. They wasn't on the blocks when my mom and my dad was out there dancing up and all of that. Then when these unnaturals from the disco era, from the unnatural Europeans, from the rock and roll era, from the jazz and swing era, they wanted to come to the hood. If you want to come to the hood, obviously they're not from the hood. They want to come to the hood and they want to wearing. Why? Because Jimi Hendrix and all of them, Africa Bambaataa and all of them, George Clinton in the parliament, all of them, when they saw us settling our disputes off of which neighborhood was the dopest, we were settling it with graffiti, with MCs, with DJs, with break dancers. We don't shed blood, even in the concrete jungle. Vibe magazine sheds blood. Rick Rubin and Lawyer Cohen of Def Jam, they shed blood. Jimmy Iovine of Tommy Boy Records, who signed Tupac Shakur in Baltimore, then took him over to the West Coast and started the East Coast, West Coast beef. Y'all talking about y'all trying to get into the entertainment. Y'all ain't even done y'all math. Y'all ain't even done y'all history yet. And you from the East and you ain't building? You from Trenton and you ain't doing the math? They ain't in this script. If you need a reference point, go look at Beach Street. Go look at Beach Street. Lee was the break dancer in the family. And if you take Beach Street and you apply it to Nas Escobar, Live at the Barbecue, to Illmatic, to Stillmatic, to It Is Written, if you apply it like I applied it, every step of the journey. If you apply Beach Street is identical to the movement of Nas Escobar, to God's son. They tried to give us Africa Bambaataa. We're like, clown, get out of here. That's disco, nigga. Get out of here, clown. They tried to give us Houdini, all of that. When Nas Escobar came and dropped Live at the Barbecue, halftime, he hadn't even dropped Illmatic yet. The whole hood, listen, the whole industry, every inner city on the East Coast. Listen, y'all didn't even know nothing about it down south and all that. Listen, the sun rises in the east. Y'all, you can't be mad at us. You wasn't there. They were steadily trying to give us the Studio 54 disco, Yo MTV rap version of hip hop, and we kept rejecting it. Nah, keep Africa Bambaataa. When Nas came on the scene, the whole hood said that's hip hop. Every DJ, anybody who had ever produced, they went and begged that man to make a track. Go look at it. Go look at his playlist. Never before in history. Never before in history. DJ Premier, the dopest producer, made 2 tracks. Next up, Pete Rock made 2 tracks. Q-Tip was killing on the production side for Tribe Called Quest. He goes and makes 2 tracks. They go and ask, they like, yo, listen, they competed to be on the team on the album that they knew was going to be the greatest album of all time. They all went like they was going from college. And they competed for the starting 5 lineup of producers to go pro. Everybody else in the industry, they would go to the record labels. The record label would sign them. Then the record label would book studio time. Then the record label would get a producer or 2, and then they would come and then they would get ghost writers and a crew of ghostwriting MCs to create a 360 image and persona that they wanted you on the East Coast to promote and you on the West Coast to promote, because they had also simultaneously created the Yo TV Rap Police. And if they control Vibe Magazine, then they control Source Magazine. If they control the Source Magazine, they also control Viacom. What's Viacom? The parent company is MTV. Yo MTV Raps. Viacom had already had rock and roll and Studio 54 and disco on MTV. There was no raps. There was no hip hop. There's never been hip hop on Viacom. BET has never done hip hop. BET is owned by Viacom. So the individuals, what is Studio 54? Studio 54 is the business owners who created a club environment where disco can be distributed to the masses. So they said, we know how we'll infiltrate hip hop, because we can't go to the park. We can't go to Trenton. We can't go to Brooklyn. We ain't going out into the Bronx. We're not going out into the park. Listen, we set up in the park, yo. Every single basketball court that we hooped on, we transformed into the party. In the middle, listen, there's no better place in the hood than the basketball court, because everybody already associates the basketball court with it's like, listen, it's like the watering hole. The watering hole in the Pride Lands. Everybody meets up at the watering hole. Everybody meets up at the basketball court in the middle of the hood. Y'all tell me if I'm lying. And the individuals who wanted to own and monopolize something that you created, but because they ain't from where we come from, they don't belong to us, and the creator put enmity between us and them. Y'all better stop telling them lies about black on black. You ain't black. Can an Ethiopian change or a leopard change his spot? I'm gonna ask you again. Because that's what the creator asked you. Will people of color kill you dead? Did people of color see nothing wrong with the unnatural hippies and acid movement? Sex, drug, rock and roll, right? You want to talk about violence? There was no more violent movement in the United States of America. All of them serial killers and mass murderers came in the hippie movement. Jeffrey Dahmer. All of it. Listen, man, when you taking psychedelic drugs, then you're listening to individuals who create music talking about do what thou wilt. He's saying, yo, if you wanna rape little kids, rape little kids. If you wanna kill people, kill people. Ted Bundy, every single serial killer. Listen, man, y'all talking about violence. The whole host of black homes like Sammy Davis Jr., did they sign up to run in a Rat Pack with Frank Sinatra? Since the 20s, they've been running. Listen, your problem is you've been identifying with them. I will put enmity between your seed and the serpent seed. And in all of those movements, you had death. They just ain't promoted until they infiltrated our art form. They glamorized the death when it was all on them. In the 30s, it wasn't us killing nobody. That was Bugsy Siegel. Then y'all let them glamorize it, and then y'all let them glorify it, and then y'all identify with shedding the blood of your brother, and the Most High God say, are you my brother? Listen, when you done it to the least of these, and then you identify, understand, God has put a blessing on kings who will defend the family that he gave to them. David was a hunter of David was a warrior above warriors, but it was in the same role that the Lion King provides when other male lions want to take over his pride and his pride land. Death. Once David secured the throne for 70 years, there was masterpiece in the land. The reason they kill you dead in the street is because you have identified with Scarface. You've identified with Slaughter. Those are slave brands, and there is a price to pay. I will require an accounting for every drop of blood. He who sheds the blood of man, by man your blood will be shed. And so the wicked, they read the word of God and they like, yo, if we set this trap and they accept this, we can execute them. That's what the police do. That's what the U.S. government does. When you identify with the movies that they create, understand who owns the Hollywood studios that gave you the Mac, Superfly, New Jack City. Understand not one person of color owns the studios that gave you Colors. Now the Most High God is coming to end. He came to Cain directly. Yo, where's your brother at? He like, why you asking me? I don't care nothing about that. Nigga, my brother's keeper. No. He like, I know you not, because the blood of Cain crossed, the blood of Abel crossed on the ground. All right. From that day forward on earth, the Most High God said, anybody that identifies with this bastard offspring, anybody who has the spirit, I will require an accounting for this evil spirit. So they glorified it when they shed the blood of Abel. And then when you buy into it, they turn around and they kill you dead, and they act as your judge, jury, and executioner. Can you say a trap? Yo, I'm not telling you you preach. There is not a court in Trenton, New Jersey, from Walnut Avenue to, listen, yo, there is not a court in Trenton, Jersey, Westwood Recreational Center. Listen, man, there is not a court. Wilson Homes Court. That's my home court. Stop playing with me. Hamilton, Shady Brook. Listen, man, stop playing with me. Calvert Park, you do not have a court. That an elder from Mason's Barber and Beauty Supply, or an elder from Razor Sharp, those were my trainers. Butch Hackett, elder of Razor Sharp, was my football trainer. Todd Wilson of Razor Barber and Beauty Supply. Todd Wilson was my basketball trainer that my mom used, my dad used from the time I was 2 and 3. They let me know what my pedigree was. There was no internet then. There was no YouTube videos. My mom and my dad, when I'm 2 and 3 and 4, they put a ball in my hand and they told me about Uncle Butch. They put a ball in my hand and told me about Uncle Todd. And then they had my cousin come down from Trenton, Don Roberson. While they was in college, they brought Don down, and Don took me to the basketball court. And then Don told me about Teddy Ganges. Now we talk about the Masons and the Ganges from the Mason Barber and Beauty Supply. Amos Dean, Junior Mason's grandson. Top running back in Ewing High in his day. Same thing we were doing out of Hamilton High. Amos Dean. I seen with my own eyes. But before I even got to Trenton to see, was taking me out, giving me a rock. Like, boy, this how we get down. Boy, he was my YouTube. Supernatural huddles, supernatural drills. I talk about AAU. Y'all listen, man, listen. That's cream puff. Y'all done let Nike and Adidas do the same thing that y'all let MTV with their Yo MTV Raps and Fab Five Freddy do to hip hop. Y'all wonder why? Listen, you don't got no control over that which you created. That is the most unnatural thing. Listen, that's like giving your child up, which y'all do. Y'all gonna let some other nigga tell you your child, you gotta vaccinate your child. Who is that nigga? They done weaponized our food against us with genetically modified food for years. And you're going to turn around and let the same people who can't understand why you still are fruitful and multiplying, now they're coming out with a new way to weaponize stuff, and you give your children over to them just like you gave hip-hop to these niggas. They like, yo, they didn't push back with the food. All right, let's go to the vaccine. Ain't no such thing as conspiracy. When you've been in the crosshairs and being slaughtered all throughout history, that's called insanity. Buying into conspiracy theories when you have been the target. Same individuals that sold you openly on block. Listen, how do you even let a European talk about a conspiracy theory when they have a record of blood, record of rape and pillage, record of injustice in court? How do you even let them talk about a conspiracy theory? How do you let them even fake and flip on you when the record of the blood is on, and the Most High God said, I will require an accounting for it? So then when God is coming to pay the wicked for the blood that they've done, and then he told all of his children, you listen up, Trent, New Jersey. Revelation 14 says, come out of her, my people. The slaves of y'all who forgot that you was an heir, forgot that you was supernatural, even though that you done identify with them, even though you done put in work with them. Listen, remember, Moses killed the man, and I still chose him because he was mine. And because, listen, where evil can be found, my grace does much more abound. Where the wicked and the evil plot and conspire against you, I will not hold my child accountable. Come on home, son. I don't care how much blood you got on your hands. Have you ever heard of the RICO law? Genesis 9 is God's word. They took and bit. Genesis 9, I will require an accounting for every drop of blood. That is where they got the RICO law. Do y'all know what the RICO law is? A criminal enterprise. It doesn't matter. This is how, you know how many of our people have gone to jail under the RICO status, and they had created the RICO law for y'all based off of Genesis 9 that God said about the wicked. And God said, even if the father who sits on the throne of his criminal sons and daughters, if he has his daughters sleep with you and has his sons sit and wait and take your life, God had said in Genesis chapter 9, the son, the daughter, the brothers, the father, the mother, and everybody who had knowledge that this family is engaged in shedding blood is dead. But God has said any slaves that they have enslaved against their will and forced to work in their criminal enterprise, even if they use the slaves to put in the work. Genesis 14 is saying, all of my children who have come up in the hoods and you put in work for these bastard offspring of Cain. No matter how much dirt you have, you got a small window of opportunity to come out of them. And tell them, like the wild horse that listen, remember, Europeans, they go to the plain and they see a horse. And they say, I want to own you and dominate you. And then they go through a process to break that horse. If the horse stays and does work and pulls the wood, it is a slave and it's a broken horse. If the moment that the horse gets an opportunity, sees the gate open, no matter how long it's been there, if the horse sees the gate open and exits and goes back to its life, it is not a slave, it is free, and it has always been free, said the Most High God. Whatever work that the horse did in bondage is held, and the blood is required on the head of the individual that enslaved the horse. Europeans. Every last one of y'all Europeans. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Y'all children. Let me tell y'all something. Let me give y'all some mathematics. Y'all unnatural children of the Europeans who came here. Let me tell you how long. Let me tell you how long God said the blood rolls downhill. Okay? All y'all Bible belt, Bible reading, don't know God, don't know nothing. Let me tell you how long the king's blood rolls to his children. This means how far down in the ages everybody has to die for what the fathers do. This is the supernatural Rico. The supernatural Rico act. So in Genesis chapter 20, the Most High God said, hold up. Genesis 6. Let me give you the time frame first. My spirit will not always strive with humans. Okay. So remember, he said, I will put enmity between your seed and the serpent seed. Genesis 6, he calls the serpent seed humans. Genesis 6, my spirit will not strive with humans. That is the difference. That makes you, this is how he puts enmity. It's called the seal of God. If you are defiled, you can never have the spirit of the Most High God. It's called the unpardonable sin. If you are unnatural, you will not receive pardon. That is unpardonable. Unnatural is unpardonable, meaning I will not deposit my spirit in you. Truth. So if you live a natural life, until I was withhold the deposit, be unpardonable. Everything you do, every violation you will be guilty of. That's what unpardonable means. So Genesis 6, he defined and gave a name. Human beings, my spirit will not strive with humans. First time God even spoke. When he created the first time, he did not use the word humans. He used Elohim. Let us create Elohim in our image after our likeness. Created he them. And woman. So when Cain started having mad children, Genesis 6:1 says, humans begin to increase on the earth, they begin to murder each other. Killing of children. Such thing as on. Cain. God in his day. Some identify you from.